First of all, I just want to start by telling you guys how much I appreciate you being here. When we decided to do CultureCon, heck, when we decided to do Think 3D, we did it because we truly believed that there was a better way to do things, one that was more inclusive, one that was more open, more honest, more transparent, all of the things that we all asked for. And I'm so excited that you all came. We wanted to do something special. We wanted to move, we wanted to make things happen. Now, I'm assuming that all of you are here for the same thing, because most of you, like many people that are doers, want to do something. You want to do the thing that all doers want to do, and that is make an impact. See, an impact is important because it's how we let the world know that we were here. The depth of it, the size of it, the reverberations of the decisions that we make are what set our legacy and will let people know that we contributed, that we participated in what this world is, that we weren't victims of it, we weren't bystanders, we shaped it, we made it, we created it. We want to make an impact. A lot of times people don't necessarily think about what that takes though, what goes into developing an impact. So I thought we'd take a look at it. Now, typically when people think about an impact, they think about the second definition, right? Which is having a profound effect on someone or something. But the best way to get to the second definition is to focus on the first, the technical version of making an impact, which is one object forcefully coming into contact with another. One object forcefully coming into contact with another, which means in order to make an impact, you have to be a force. And so the question becomes, what goes into becoming a force, where that is also scientific. That equation is relatively simple. Force equals mass times acceleration. Force equals mass times acceleration. That means you need two things in order to be a force. You need mass and you need movement. You need to be able to get it going. And when we talk about mass, that's not weight. Mass is your density. It's your substance. It's what you're made of. It's what you know. It's your knowledge. It's your wisdom. It's how packed tight it is so that you can fit more in. It's your density. Your movement is how you can get things going, how you can push things forward, your ability to get other people to participate in moving that thing forward. Because you can move things, you can run as fast as you want and not have any mass. And basically you're swinging feathers. You won't make an impact that way. And you can have mass, you can have substance. You can have density, but if it's parked on your couch, you will accomplish exactly nothing. So in order to be able to make an impact, you have to be a force. And that means that you have to have mass and substance. That's what we hope to help provide to you today. And I hope that you've gotten it from our great speakers that have been up here before. And the other thing that we want to do is we want to motivate you to move it. And we wanted to put you in a room with other people who want to do the same things that you want to do so you can get people who can help you move that, because the more mass, the harder it is to move. And so by having people in this room that want to build cultures, that want to grow cultures, that want to affect their communities, we have an opportunity to move that mass. We have an opportunity to become a force, and thus we have the opportunity to make a profound impact. And not just in this community. I believe this community has an opportunity to impact what happens in the rest of the world. I personally believe, particularly here in the Midwest, that we might be this country's last best chance to get it right. We've had the opportunities to see what's happened in other places in the world, and the joke that was normally on us, that we were behind everything, has given us an opportunity to view, to see, to understand how we can make our community better. And that's what we want to do. So we want to give you a little bit more information so we can help make that impact. The first thing you're going to need to do, if you want to design a special type of culture, is you need to have something that you believe in. You need to believe in something. What is your North Star? See, the unfortunate part about it is that many times in businesses or organizations, there is no North Star. There is no way that we are going. We're following a leader or a person or a trend or whatever that is. But what is that thing that never leaves? It is always there and it moves. And so when you design a belief statement, because most people get it confused, they tend to think about a mission statement, which is a laundry list of things that you want to do. And that's great. That's awesome. Everyone should know that. Talk about a vision statement, how you see yourself getting there, where you see yourself going. That is amazing as well. You should have that. But a belief statement is your core. It is the thing that you cannot leave behind. And if you can't do that, you can't do your business. To give you an example, our belief statement at Think 3D is we believe that we could better the world by improving the way people live through improving the way people work. That's what we do. If there's an opportunity presented to us and it leads us towards that, we do it. If it doesn't, we don't. Because it's about bettering the world. That's what actually matters to us. I care about my neighbors. I care about my friends. I care about my family. That's what I care about. I don't care about quarterly numbers. I only care about them as much as I need to care about them to care about the people that I care about. That's the point. So you have to believe in something. It should be your core. And it should be active. It should not be something that just sits somewhere. It should be something that you use. You should hire based off of it, as we'll talk about. But it also makes your life easier. It is your discernment. It is your ability to be able to see between things that will help your business and things that will not. It is something that I say is the difference between limitations and filters. Sometimes we get this confused. Limitations and filters. So a limitation will keep you from the opportunities that you want, working with people that you want, in circumstances that you want. And sometimes we get that confused with our filters. And so sometimes we turn ourselves off and we become something that we're not. But the filters keep us from those circumstances we don't want to be in and working with those people that we don't want to work with. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. If any of you know me, and a lot of you do, you will generally find me in a hoodie or some type of athleisure apparel because I like being comfortable. Now, some people would say to me, man, if you don't wear that suit, man, people might not want to do business with you. And I help them understand that that is a filter. If I'm dealing with someone that is in charge or in control or influence the health, the happiness of their people, if their culture is in the balance, is if the way that they do their business, the way that they function is in the balance, and the difference between that person hiring me or not is because I'm wearing a hoodie, I don't want that work. That's a headache I don't need. That's a filter. That's doing what it's supposed to do. If I'm late all the time, well, that's a limitation. I gotta work on that. That's the difference. Your belief statement should lead you. It should be something that you can stand on, something that you can take pride in. It is a non-negotiable. Decide what your belief statement is, what your belief is, and follow that. Next thing you have to do is you have to build a team, and that's important. And a lot of times when we talk about building a team, we don't talk enough about keeping a team, right? As I say often, it is important that you focus on your retention, making the people that you currently have happy and using them as ambassadors to help push your business forward, because you cannot hire who you want if you are busy hiring who you need. You do not have the opportunity to be discerning. You need a warm body. And your customers deserve more. Your company deserves more. You deserve more. Find the right person, and you have the time to do that by keeping the right people. And that means you have to focus on developing the culture that is true and is real, because people tend to build their teams kind of like this. Well, they do what they're supposed to. They're one-dimensional. They go this way, they go that way. The problem is, though, that somebody always has to be working them. You got to be twisting and turning and pulling and pushing all of the time. Build your team to be flexible. Build your team to have dynamics. Build your team to be individuals. Now, this is my team. I coach youth football. These are my guys right here. We just played in the championship on Sunday. We weren't able to bring it home. But these are my guys, and I love these guys. And one of the things that's interesting that we do is that we have nicknames for everybody. This right here is Nitro, we call him, because he has such a hot motor. He's always going all of the time. This guy right here, he's a quarterback. We call him Hollywood because, well, he thinks he's, It's my guy here, we call him Easy because he's always pretty chill. He never gets too up or anything like that. So we call him Easy. It's my guy Bear because he's, well, like a big bear. And this is Daniel. He came late, so we just call him Daniel. But we have, he came late. We didn't get there. But we have names for just about everybody. And the reason why I show you this is because it's about individuality. And a lot of times when we talk about team, we talk about surrendering one's individuality. And on a team, it gives sometimes people the credence and the excuse of not acknowledging individuals, right? We've all done, And actually, I laugh when I say this, and you'll get why here in a second. We've all done those school projects or whatever where somebody else does almost all of the work, and then you just swag in, and I'm really describing myself right now, which is why it's funny, but it's still true, right? And you get frustrated, right? It's important that even on the team, you acknowledge people's individuality. You respect that. You give a person the opportunity to express themselves, and you also give a person the opportunity, or at least the realization, that you see them, even amongst their team. It's important, and it moves a lot. One of the next things that's very important, and this one is really hard for folks, is that you have to experiment. You have to experiment. Now, if you experiment, the inevitable will happen. You will fail. So you have to experiment, and you have to fail. And then you have to do it some more. You experiment, you fail, and you do it some more. And when I say experiment, I mean you have to relish it, develop a culture around it, develop excitement around it, that there's gonna be an opportunity for you to think, for you to grow, and as a part of that is failure. And sometimes we get thrown off by the failure part of it. But you see, much like that door, failure is a portal. Failure is not something you go in, it's something you go through. If you want to get to what's on the other side, it's something that you have to go through. Prepare your people to go through it. Don't allow them to be under the impression that success happens without setbacks. It's a part of your culture. It's a part of what happens. Invite it. Scientists reach failure all day long. People have been trying to cure cancer for decades. Let's pray to God they don't get disengaged, that they don't get bored, that they don't get discouraged because they can't find a solution. Remember, failure is not something you go in. It's something you go through. It's a part of the process. I would also encourage you, create a lab. And I mean that figuratively and literally. Make a lab, a place, an opportunity, an environment where people can go to create, and they can set their minds on challenging themselves to create something new, to innovate, to change the way you do things. Put together that group. Set aside that time. Put together that investment to give people the opportunity to figure out new ways, because ultimately, that is going to keep you engaged. We had a phrase we say, don't get red boxed, right? Because when we are young, and particularly soda folk, well, everybody should remember Blockbuster, right? We never thought that would go away. And then innovation happened. There was a better way to do it. Then you had Redbox, and a giant was gone. And then you had Netflix. Don't get caught off guard by innovation. Most of you have brilliant people within your walls. Access them, utilize them, put them to good work. People would rather be used than be useless. Put them to work. They want to do something. The next part of that is collecting ideas. Now, I use the phrase collecting ideas versus stealing ideas or borrowing ideas, because those kind of phrases frustrate me. It makes people sheepish and weird about taking things that just make sense. Now, there are some things that are truly proprietary, but for the most part, ideas are for the world. I mean, what would have happened if the guy who invented the wheel thought it was just my idea? Or the person who invented that vaccination, it was just their idea. If it makes sense, use it, but don't just trip on it. Search for it, look for ideas, discover, find ideas, collect them. Here's what we understand. Mozart, Beethoven, Bach, all of them, they did not invent one single solitary note. They are famous for their composition. They are famous for the way they were able to put things together, things that already existed, things that were already there. There's no need to reinvent the wheel all the time. Look for those things. Look for those ideas. Share them. Get together. I hope you guys are exchanging cards. I hope you're having conversation. I hope you're exchanging emails, and you have lunch, and you have coffee, and you get together, and you exchange ideas. That is the culture we have to create, where we're always learning, and we're always exchanging ideas. Next, once you get those ideas, you have to customize them. They need to fit for you. Some of you in here can have 3-day work weeks. And if you can, that might work. And I'm sure your people would love it. Do that. Some of you can work remotely. Some of you have service for a business and you have to be available and you can't have 30-hour work weeks. Do what works for you. It amazes me how many times I happen upon a conversation and people are talking about why they can't do things. And then I say, well, why can't you do it? Well, because, you don't do that. No, why can't you do it? Well, because you can't do that. Why can't you do that? You can do whatever it is that you want to do. It's your business, it's your organization. Now, do you need buy-in from your leadership? Of course. But for some of you, you are the leader. Some of you, you have the opportunity to make these changes. I encourage you to take these ideas, to tweak them, to customize them, to look at what your makeup is and have them fit what your makeup is so they're your ideas, right? They won't be the same. And then there's champion challenge. Champion challenge. This one is hard to do because a lot of us come up in a system where someone's the boss, then someone eats crap until they become the boss, and then they make other people eat crap until they become the boss. And the cycle goes on and on and on. And so in that, we never really create a situation where we get to have open and honest dialogue. And when we ask people many times where you learn to communicate, the truth is that they never really did. Right? You go to school, they teach you how to write. They teach you how to speak. They don't necessarily teach you how to communicate. When you were a child, what was the communication style? You were the child, someone else was the parent. There was not a whole lot of back and forth, at least in my household. It was fairly direct in one way. When you go to school, you're the student. Someone's the teacher. Wasn't a whole lot of back and forth. It was usually one-sided and went one way. When you go to work, you're the employee. Someone's the boss. Wasn't a whole lot of back and forth. It was usually one-sided and it went one way. People are not used to exchanging ideas where sometimes, right, this might be crazy, people will disagree with you. I know. It's strange. It'll be okay. And particularly in our climate, there's no greater example than what's happening in our world right now to show that we have just fallen out of the exercise of exchanging ideas and challenging each other in a positive way. That's how we grow. That's how we get better. Because the best idea wins. The ideas are for the world. They don't belong to any one person. And too many times in businesses, people use their positions to justify their ideas versus their ideas justifying their positions. You should be there because of your ability to rally people, to get people together, to be able to consolidate those ideas. But rather, what generally happens is those ideas get bottlenecked. You have brilliant people all at a certain level with these great ideas that would save money, save time, make the environment better. But there is one gatekeeper, the holder of the keys, that decides whether or not this idea should go up to somebody that gets to make the decision. They're not even the person who makes the decision. They're the person who decides if the decision maker gets an opportunity to make the decision. There has to be an opportunity for you to champion challenge, where people have an opportunity to tell you things that they think are wrong, things that they think are not working. If we were in here all together and I had you all stand up and we were looking for a paperclip, would we all get in a row and just weave back and forth through the room? No, because that'd be stupid. Right? We would spread out and we would use all of our eyes and we would likely find it pretty quickly. That's what happens when you utilize the intellect that's in your midst. And then what we want to do is get help, right? So many times we try to hold it close to the vest and tuck it in and make everything clandestine. We have to be able to be vulnerable and honest with each other and tell ourselves when we're not doing as good as we would like to and when we need help. See, here's the thing. When you're doing something, particularly something important, you have to focus. Running your businesses takes focus. And it's hard to go to your shareholders. It's hard to go to the people that employ you and say, hey, I'd like to take a quarter or two off from making money so we can focus on feelings. That's usually not well received. You have to get help. Now, I don't know who can help you. I'm just saying, get help. Now, what happened? Something happened? Well, now, here's the thing. Before I get out here, I want to, because we got a few more things that we want to share you, but I also wanted to share this with you as well, just in this vein, something that we feel like is important here at Think 3D. Because when we talk about getting help, there also is something to be said for creating the people who can help you, for developing that next layer of leadership. And that's something that you hear us talk about. That's something that we're truly passionate about. And there is something that we developed, which is our 2025 plan. You'll see it in your books there, and you will also see it in the November edition of the 605 magazine. Our friends from 605 magazine were good enough to help us make this available to folks. Now, we are not the cotton candy part, but this is our 2025 plan. And here's why we did this. And so what we said is that we do a lot of different work in the community. We said we thought it would be better if businesses actually were more declarative about what it is that they want to do in the community. And we think it's incredibly important for us to develop leaders, which I'll talk about here in just a second. And so we wanted to create this document, and first it was just internally, and we said, this is what we believe in. This is what we feel like is important. This is what we feel like we can contribute, and this is what we want to be held accountable to. And so we developed this plan, and we wanted to put it out there. We wanted to make it available to people because we want to be held accountable to what we say that it is that we're going to do. And there's a couple of major things that we wanted to do, one of which was we wanted to elevate our thought leaders. We wanted to create opportunities for you to see how wonderful our talent is here, and that we don't always have to reach outside of our community. We always don't have to look for someone else because we have amazing, talented people right here and in this room. And so that's why we wanted to create CultureCon, because we wanted to give an opportunity for the amazing speakers that you saw earlier today so you could see how wonderful they are, because I'm sure some of you did not know, and they always were great. They always were talented. They just don't necessarily have all the opportunities that they should have. And so we wanted to fight to do that. The second thing that we wanted to do was we wanted to create community. And this is why we developed Thinker. Thinker is a program that we're using through something called Mighty Networks, and essentially allows us to create a community, and that's something that we thought were important. We want to bring together people who, like us, want to do things, want to build, want to grow, want to be around people who want to do that, want to be around positivity and energy. In fact, you all should be receiving an invitation here fairly soon. But we would love for you to hop on Thinker because we want to start to dialogue and converse and connect with each other. We want you to connect with each other so that we have an opportunity to build this culture within our community of people who want to change it, affect it, grow it, develop it, and all the good things that we want to do. So we're really proud of this. So please hop on Thinker. We would love to discuss some things with you there. Now, our baby, which is this right here, is our leadership development program. So we do leadership development within businesses, but we also do leadership development for the community. And last year, we had an opportunity to run a class where we graduated around 16 folks with the help of the Sioux Falls Area Community Foundation that was so gracious enough to honor us with a $25,000 grant for us to put together this program. We did this as a part of our greater plan, which is to create an academy for the community where we would be able to teach the leadership skills to the community at large with the goal of producing 500 formally trained leaders by the year 2025. Let me ask you this question. How many of you, through work, through school, through anything like that, have received over 1 week or 40 hours of dedicated leadership training? Okay, a little spackle there. How many of you have received over 80 hours of leadership training? Okay. These graduates are a part of a 16-week course of in-depth training that we went through to teach them all of the different elements that go into leadership. from the principle of exposure to how to receive and give feedback, public speaking, a whole host of other things. We have some of our graduates here tonight. We wanted to share this with you because this is a big part of what it is that we want to do, and we want to encourage all of you, your organizations or businesses, to put yourself out there and say what it is that you believe and what you're going to do to better this community so that we can hold ourselves accountable, so that we all can know that other people are out there working on the same problems that we have. We can get reinforcements. We can get help when we need it. We also have the opportunity to be able to sit down with people and just talk through some of these issues. And for those people who are suffering from these issues, it would be good to know that help is on the way and somebody's working on a problem that you might have. We don't want to just create workforce. We want to create leaders. That's what we need in our community. We don't need a better government. We need better leaders. We don't necessarily need better businesses. We need better leaders. That's what we're short on. So that's what we wanted to create. I want to give you an opportunity to hear from some of the graduates yourself and see the program. And then we'll move on. Thank you.
All right, can I have everyone's attention, please?